Young Turks. We are now going to talk to Veronica Monet. She's an author. She's an ordained minister in the Universal Life Church, and she's also an escort. Veronica, welcome to the Young Turks.
Well, hi. Thanks for welcoming me. I'm actually a former escort.
Yes, former escort. I was just about, that was going to be my first question, so there you have it. How long were you an escort, Veronica?
From the fall of 1989 till January 31st of 2004.
Huh, that's interesting. I saw somewhere that you'd written that you were with 1,800 clients. Is that right?
1,869, actually.
Wow, you kept that strict a list of how many people?
Well, I'm a writer. Writers tend to take notes. And I also have a degree in psychology, so I kind of approached this profession as a, I don't know, research in the field.
I suppose so, isn't it? Okay. I have so many questions for you, but let me just explain to the good folks at home, first off, that, you know, I'm now on a crusade to legalize prostitution.
Oh, yes! Awesome!
Okay. Excellent. Good. I'm glad I have you on my side. So, and I know you've written about this, so I want to talk about that too. But first, I wanted to get some background on it.
Okay.
So, when you started in 1989, can I ask how old you were when you started?
I was 29.
Oh, wow. So you started kind of late.
I did.
Huh, that's interesting. So, what made you get into it?
Well, okay, I had already gotten my college degree from Oregon State, and I had already invested 7 years in corporate America. I was really frustrated. I had worked really hard, you know, I mean, taking all kinds of training and working overtime without pay, and it just repeatedly was not getting recognized in the way that I thought was, you know, commensurable. I got awards.
Right.
I even got promotions, but they just wouldn't give me the money.
Yeah, I hear it's about the money.
Yeah, so I met this beautiful prostitute, and, you know, I was a feminist, still consider myself a feminist today, but I really thought all prostitutes were drug addicts or alcoholics and battered and abused and had pimps, and I just assumed it was a horrible, horrible, miserable life, and I met this real live prostitute, and she was beautiful, happy, making a 6-figure income, driving a Mercedes. She was married. She had 3 kids. She never touched alcohol or drugs. She was a health fanatic who spent all her time in the gym, so she just blew my mind.
I bet she did that for a lot of people. Okay, so
more than their minds.
How do people find you?
Well, they've originally, since I started in 1989, this is pre-internet.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you run a little ad in a men's newspaper. And in our area, we had something called Spectator Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And you would run an ad in there with one lousy little black and white picture. And the picture might have been great until they went and copied it for the newspaper. Then all the pictures looked horrible. And you couldn't hardly tell anything about anybody. And most of the girls ran pictures of themselves where you couldn't see their face. They just show you their body parts. So the ads were, in a lot of ways, kind of depersonalized because of that.
Did you show your face or no?
Not in the beginning. I didn't. I did what everybody else did.
But then later you did show your face.
Later on, a girlfriend and I, as time goes on, a couple years into this, I start meeting other providers. And me and this other woman named Nikki decided we were going to be the very first in the Bay Area to run our faces.
Oh, wow. So you're a pioneer.
Yeah, well, pretty much. And she started one of the first escorting websites in the Bay Area, too. So.
Oh, okay. If we had legalized prostitution, you wouldn't have streetwalkers. You would have it in a, you know, in a system that is clean and efficient, you would hope.
Oh, actually, that's not true.
Okay.
Decriminalization is what works better, and the only place that's really, truly got a decriminalized model is New Zealand. And in New Zealand, they have a lot of different layers to the sex, and some people still choose to do it in the streets. Now, the reason people do it in the streets is because they don't have the resources to go get a phone and an address.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not an issue of the job. That's really an issue of people who don't have money.
So you're just saying don't legalize it, but stop making it illegal, which apparently is a distinction.
There is a distinction. If you legalize it, what you're going to wind up with is what we've got in the state of Nevada. In the state of Nevada, we've got legal prostitution, but it's only legal if. So you have all these long lists. You've got to work for a legal brothel, and the brothel owner is the person who probably has some connections with local government so that they were able to get their foot into the county. Now, those brothels are set up so that it's almost kind of like slavery. The women are behind closed, locked doors and high barbed wire fences, and they always tell you, oh, it's for their safety, which is just so patronizing and condescending. And then each woman has got a camera and a microphone in her room, again, supposedly for her safety, but the real reason the house does it is because they want to make sure that the girl's not ripping them off.
That's interesting.
And so and I know this because I've actually been a customer. I went to the Mustang Ranch and the Old Bridge Ranch just to check it out and see what it's like as a customer. And if you're a customer, it's great because the customer's always right. But if you're an employee, then it's a pretty abusive situation. So you're going to find that most prostitutes will refuse to work under those circumstances.